you're... Oh,
Hi, we're back with Ann Max with Productive to the Max. And 35 years she's been a productive consultant in productivity and a coach. I work together with Ann, and we're doing these short vignettes to learn a little bit more about how you can increase your productivity and learning how Ann has spent the last 35 years helping people do it. What's the number one frustration, Ann, that you see when you first sit down with someone who's looking to hire you as a coach?
Most people are overwhelmed with what they have to do on a daily basis.
Yes.
And it depends on what type of business you're in. If you're a small business owner, your problem is that you have a small business, but you have to wear all the hats.
Yeah.
You have to do...
And it's lonely, right?
It's very lonely. So you really have nobody to help you. And very often small businesses start without any training also. So they have to do everything, and you do have to do everything. You have to know how everything works in your business even before you delegate. But what happens is eventually the business grows. And with that, you have to eventually start delegating some of the jobs out to other people, and you must start to delegate what you are not good at. But it's usually what you love to do.
Yes.
Well, like I love to do the marketing, so why can't I do that? Because you're lousy at it.
So they need some systems, some structure, some processes, and that's where you come in.
Right.
I read some really interesting stats when I was doing some research before Ann and I sat down just on productivity and just the average interruptions. The average number of messages that we get bombarded with every day, and that's becoming increasingly more with all of the different social media platforms and so on. But every 8 minutes on average, apparently, they say that we are interrupted, which equals 7 an hour and 50 to 60 a day, that each of those take 5 minutes to address. And so that equals about 4 hours a day. And
we have 8 days in 8 hours in a day.
So that's 50% of your work time. And they say that the interruptions, 80% of those interruptions have little to no value.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're spending 50% of your day, or if 80%, that's like 3 hours a day on things that have little to no value. And I love the 80-20 rule. So we're really spending most of our time on stuff that doesn't matter, and only 20% of our time on things that are critical or important.
That's right.
Wow.
And that's the key. That's the key to productivity. So you can't achieve your goals. So
it's like spin.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is called the Pareto principle. So what you have to do is you have to spend 20% of your time on what is important, but you have to know what isn't.
You have to nail that down. Yeah.
You have to nail that down. So you have to know your goals. You have to know your mission statement, even if it's for something personal, even if it's for a little project that you're doing, even if you don't own a business and you're an employee, for anything. Any type of a corporation, you must have goals, and you must have action plans, and you must have systems and processes to keep them in place, because that will keep this type of thing, the interruptions, at bay. At bay,
yeah, and really increase your productivity, especially as a business owner. That's really key. But even as an employee, I mean, it increases your level of accomplishment, your satisfaction, your... You know, I remember when we worked together, I was very overwhelmed, to a burnout point. And I was overwhelmed at the thought of working with somebody to help me with my productivity, because, that's more work. And that
happens too.
That's more work, but it really wasn't, because some of the things you taught me were really simple. And when I did the work, when I actually followed the processes and systems, then I began to feel relief.
Yes, and you were very good pupil.
A good student. Yeah. Thank you.
Lots of, but it requires a lot of discipline, because you're changing habits.
Well, that's right. You're really a change catalyst.
I am.
And as we said earlier, it takes time to establish a new 30 days to establish a new habit, or emotional or physical. Right. And another stat that you share with me that I thought was interesting is an hour of planning will save 10 hours of doing. Wow.
Yeah, because most people don't plan. So they come in the office in the morning, they go, oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, maybe I'll, and then you get interrupted because there's something on Facebook and the phone rings and all kinds of things like that.
But it's text.
Yeah, and when you plan according to your goals. So you plan the most important things first, and there's all kinds of little tricks according to your own personality. So one of the things that I do that's, there are a lot of business coaches, and people always say to me, are you a business coach? Yes, to a certain extent.
Only because you work with business people.
Yeah, but I really am a coach that changes your habits and digs deep down into what you do, where a lot of business coaches don't. I will actually sit down with you, go through how you do your emails, and set you up with a whole totally new system. I will deal with your interruptions, show you how to do it, that kind of thing.
I love the time blocking. I still do it to this day.
Good.
And I've taught my daughter how to do it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, so
Well, I wish
it's
they
really
teach-
simple techniques.
Yeah.
So we're here with Ann Max with Productive to the Max, and we're learning on how to be more productive. So we're going to create a few vignettes. Stay tuned. We hope you stay with us. I'm Susan Blaine. Stay tuned and become more productive.